How's it going? Adam Drake here, and today I'm going to talk about tuning with anti-squat. So anti-squat is basically the angle of the pin, the inner rear hinge pin to the chassis. So the more the front is kicked up, the more anti-squat it has. You also have pro squat, which would be when the front of the pin or the C block is lower than the D block. In 8 scale, we very rarely ever use pro squat. Anti squat is what's most commonly used. So, guys ask all the time, is more anti squat better or worse in the bumps? Well, it depends on the type of bump. So, if it is a larger hole and the car is bottoming out in the hole, more anti squat is going to be better. It's going to be stiffer, have more support when it hits that bump, and not want to go through the travel or bottom out as easy. If it's small chop out of a corner that you're just trying to accelerate through, a lot of times less anti-squat will actually be better. The suspension will seem softer, it will want to squat more, it will keep the tires on the ground and allow the car to drive through those bumps. So the term anti-squat obviously means not trying to squat. So again, going to make the car feel a bit stiffer. Rear end is going to ride a bit higher in the travel. And when you accelerate, squat less than if you run less anti-squat. So essentially more anti-squat is going to make the rear end feel stiffer. It will also transfer more weight off throttle. So it's going to make the car want to transfer more weight or have more steering getting into the corner. A lot of times it will rotate more mid-corner, but sometimes because of that stiffer feeling, it can actually have the opposite effect. But usually if the grip is decent, more anti-squat will steer a little bit more through the mid-corner. Because anti-squat is, again, kind of stiffening the rear of the car, it will also make it jump a bit higher because, again, it's not going to go through the travel as easy. It's going to basically take more resistance for it to bottom out, so it's going to have more pop or jump a bit more, jump a little bit higher. So kind of the standard setting for the MBX8R Nitro and Electric would be for the C block to be down and in and the D block to be down and middle, and that's going to give you essentially 2 degrees of anti-squat. On truck, I normally will run the C block in the middle, which is going to give me an extra degree of anti-squat, so 3 degrees for truck, 2 degrees for buggy. But again, this is a tuning option that can be changed for all different track conditions and different characteristics that you're looking for. So just wanted to give a quick rundown, and I'll kind of go back through it really quick. More anti-squat is going to be stiffer, the rear end ride a little bit higher. It will transfer more weight, give it a little bit more off-power steering and mid-corner steering. On throttle, it really depends on the grip level. So, and also the balance of the car. So more anti-squat should kind of allow the car to drive forward a bit harder, keep the rear end flat. But the initial grip will be better with less anti-squat, as long as the car is not too soft and making it kind of roll or wiggle on throttle. So again, it's a really nice tuning option. It's something that I think guys should test and play with a lot of these options for themselves, because what is such a powerful tool, or what makes you kind of a better racer or better to be able to tune your car, is understanding what this stuff does for yourself. So I can explain to you what I feel, what I like, but on practice days, I just want to challenge you guys to try some of this stuff for yourself, make some changes, make notes, whether it's mental notes or down in a notebook, so that when you're in race conditions, you're not having to rely on or ask other people kind of what direction you should go. Because again, depending on the rest of your setup or your balance, there's a lot of different ways you can get to that setup you want. I explain it a lot of times when I do the clinics to where if someone tells you, hey, meet me at a certain location, there's not one way to get to that location. You could take many, many different routes to get to where you need to be, and setup is the same way. So the vehicles have so many different options that if you're not comfortable tuning with anti-squat, I would just kind of run the standard and basic. If you're more comfortable with tuning with springs and shocks and other things, but just know that there is not one clear path to get to the setup you're looking for. There's so many options and different ways you can go about getting there. And this is just a little bit of information on anti-squat that hopefully helps you understand a little bit better tuning your vehicle and gets you better results at the track. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe.